Hello, and thank you for being with me again. As you see from the title, this time I want to talk about the great lie. And I go back to some time ago, meditating on the beginning of Jesus' ministry, when he went and spent that time in the desert in preparation for ministering to people. And the devil came to tempt him. And one of the temptations was the devil saying, if you'll bow down to me, I will give you all these nations of the earth. They'll all be subject to you. And I remember as I was contemplating this reading, I thought to myself, maybe it would have been worth just bowing down that once in order to avoid all the hardship that sin brings to the world. And then, of course, the realization came of what was wrong with that thought of mine. What I was forgetting is who it was that was making that promise. And of course, being the devil who was making that promise to Christ, we know that one of his attributes is that he is deceitful, and so he would never have given him power over all of the country, all the world, all the people in the world. And this is something that comes through in our own lives. In moral theology, we're told that the end never justifies the means. And it's for this very reason that you see quite often we can have good intentions and think, well, maybe how I can get there is not quite what it should be, but my motive is good. And we're told never to follow that. And for the very reason that I've just explained, that we can be led astray like that, where it seems that the outcome of something will be great, and it isn't, because the promise is a false promise. And this is what happens to us when in our lives we feel that the devil is calling us, or we feel that we're being tempted to enter into a state of sin, and we think how great it would be for us, how happy it would make us, how wonderful the outcome would be. And while sometimes doing such a thing may give pleasure for a short time, we know that the outcome will never be positive. The outcome will never be completely good if we engage in bad actions. This is why we're told that as Christians we should be actors and not reactors. That is, we should decide how we want to behave and not merely react to how people act towards us. Now, doing so and avoiding these temptations is something that we can sometimes find people looking at us and thinking we're particularly strange, or we're weak, or whatever. Because you see, if we are humble in our actions, if we are meek, if we're poor in spirit rather than boastful, people can look at us and think that person's awfully weak, or that person will be. And they can be very surprised when they discover that actually you're not weak, you're strong, because when something comes about that is contrary to your belief, you're prepared to stand up for it and to stick with what you know to be true and right and just. And that can be a very big surprise to people. See, we can never build our happiness on the unhappiness of others. And as I said in the last talk, basically sin means putting myself before everyone else and considering only how something will affect me, and not worrying about how it will affect other people, even if I know it's going to be negative for them. And this is our calling, to realize that we're here to do what is right, even if people may not understand it at the time. But in doing so, not to consider ourselves better than them, but merely to consider that we are in a state in our lives in which we are able to realize this truth, that we cannot behave badly and expect a happy outcome for everyone, because the world doesn't work like that. These rules, these commandments of God, this way of Jesus of living is specifically designed because that is what will make life great. We know inside of us that this is true. You know, sometimes you hear a story or you see someone doing something and it moves you to tears because you can feel the goodness of what has happened and appreciate the person who's experiencing that in their lives. And that never happens when you find someone who just with brute force overtakes everybody near them and makes them do what they want them to do. We don't have that emotive reaction. It comes when someone has done something really good, and that can move us to tears. Tears of happiness to see what is really good and really pure happening near us. And so my prayer for you this week is that your life may be full of such wonderful, truly good things, because that is what will make you truly happy and will make the people who share their lives with you happier for you being there. And may God bless you. Thank you.